Hey there, this is the Market Doll Queen, and I'd like to introduce all you new people who just discovered Thinkorswim. I know there's a lot of you people that have left Robinhood and have joined the Thinkorswim platform to use for trading. And there's a lot of different ways to set this up. And right now, well, I'm looking right here at a naked chart. And I want to take you from naked and show you how to find your studies. I'm going to show you how to apply them and to save it so it's always there for you. Today is February 1st, 2020, and I've alerted a few today that have definitely made some nice moves. And INO, or ENO, as we like to call it, was one of them. I alerted INO for a $15 call expiring February 19th. And as you can see, it's well above $15 and still climbing. Now, those of you looking at this, you can go, sure, that's a naked chart. And you could go ahead and decide that's just fine. And some people trade from a naked chart, and that's just fine too. But I find it a lot easier to add some indicators to this, okay? So to add your studies and indicators, anywhere you see a chemistry beaker, a gear, where it says studies, over here at the far right, you could click on that. You could go to studies, you could go to drawings, you can try your style. You can change it from candles to a line chart and stuff like that. You can also detach this. You could detach this chart and move it over to the side and open up another one. So like I said, there are many places that you could go to go ahead and make your changes. And we'll go ahead and hit that first beaker right there, that first chemistry beaker. Now, there are studies and strategies that work in the upper part of the chart, and then studies that go on the bottom half of your chart. And one of the ones that I'm very, very partial to is actually the Bollinger Bands. It says so much information with just a simple thing. You go ahead, type it over here in that search bar, you click on it, and then you would come down here and hit add selected. And there it is. There are your Bollinger Bands. Now, the Bollinger Bands, as they sit by default, I will show you. Let me go ahead and apply it. Let's save as set. Naked to not. How about that? We'll save that. And then we'll hit OK. And there are the default Bollinger Bands. Now, as you can see, you could use them just like that. I myself like to have studies be the same color, like for the upper and lower bands. There are a lot of studies like VWAP, Bollinger Bands, just to name two right off the top of my head, that have multiple lines and a center. So as you could see from just the Bollinger Bands, the upper and lower Bollinger Bands are two different colors. I like them to match. So I'm going to right click it, and then it says Edit Study Bollinger Bands. You could do that right there. All right. You could also, oh, my bad. You could also go back to this one, to the chemistry beaker, and click on the gear beside that. And here we are. So if you don't want to see any of the lines, you would unclick Show Plot, Show Bubble, Show Title. That would get rid of those lines. But as it sits right now, I like the way it is. I would say I actually prefer, this is the midline, It can stay as a straight line, but we'll go ahead and do it dotted. That's fine. And then the lower band and the upper band, I want to match. So we could go ahead and we could say it's that one right there and do the upper band and the same thing right there. And then we're going to hit OK. And then we're going to hit apply and OK again. And there you go. Now you can see that the Bollinger Bands make sense. At least they make sense to me now that they are the same color. This is beginning to make a lot more sense. Now, of course, you could trade straight off the Bollinger Bands. And as you can see, Bollinger Bands expand and gape open with volume and momentum. When the upper Bollinger Band and the lower Bollinger Band break open like you spread your arms trying to hug somebody. I like my Bollinger Bands to expand. The more they expand, the bigger the move. And if the candle action breaks out the upper Bollinger Bands, that is a strong bullish move. And here we come with a sell-off right there, and it comes back down. It did not touch the center of Bollinger Bands right there. So that tells me that it's still in play, still going to be in trade. This one's still good to go. The Bollinger Bands are getting ready to expand again. Now, those of you could go ahead and practice charting with just this simple indicator, period. You could go ahead and use this simple indicator on anything. You go ahead, open it up. Another one alerted today was load. I alerted load for a $3 call first thing this morning. As you can see, it already hit a high of 417. God, I love the looks of this one. The Bollinger Bands greatly expanded, but then they started to contract up. And the reason the bottom Bollinger Band started to contract up is because it started to go into a sell-off. And it actually dipped below the center of the Bollinger Bands, but never touched the bottom Bollinger Band. Actually bottomed out right there and is kicking it back up. So we are going ahead. You could literally trade with nothing but the Bollinger Bands. And the strategy for that is to buy when the candle action is down here around the lower Bollinger Band and sell when it's at the upper Bollinger Band. And again, buy down here where it's near the lower Bollinger Band. And again, sell when it gets up here. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. And a lot of people can play that rinse and repeat type of trade. Now, if we wanted to go ahead and let's go look at Space. Space Bollinger Band. Space was alerted today for a $50 call expiring this week on the 5th. And as you can see, Space hit, looks like about 52.50-ish so far today. It was alerted at 7-ish for my time. So it would have been right here. Yes. And it's a $50 call. God, I like that. And look how it broke out there. Never touched the median of the Bollinger Bands. And then continued in this extreme bullish green boner kind of way. Boom, 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 boom. Doing a little sideways chop. Bollinger Bands are starting to contract. And as you could see, you could go ahead and do the same thing. Bollinger Band trading is buy near the lower, sell near the upper. Buy near the lower, sell near the upper. And just over and over and over and over. I think you get it. Now, I'd like to add another study to this, and I'm going to show you right now. That's VWAP. I do like VWAP and the Bollinger Bands to work in conjunction with each other. VWAP is also an upper study that goes on the chart. Hit add selected, and there it is right there. Now I'll go ahead and hit apply. And VWAP is one that I like to customize further, and I'll show you why. VWAP brings me extra outer bands that I find unnecessary. So since I know that my Bollinger Bands are these blue ones, if I touch them, the whole study lights up as a whole. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the VWAP study and right click on that. And I'm going to hit the edit study VWAP. All right. Now, this is where we come into play. I want to get rid of the upper band. So I unclick, show plot, show bubble, show title, apply. Do the same thing with the lower band. Unclick all of these, hit apply. Then I go back to VWAP, which is actually the center line. I like it to be drawn as a line like that. I like it to be dotted, and I like it to be white. And then I hit apply, and I hit OK, and there's my white dotted line. That is my VWAP line. Now that in itself adds more information into the trade. When the candle action is above VWAP and stays above VWAP, the further it gets away from VWAP, the stronger the trade. And as you can see, it is starting to pitch over right there. The Bollinger Bands look like they want to contract together, which is possible. And here comes the red candle in play right there. So I would always keep an eye on that. If the candle action get below a VWAP, as you can see the white dotted line here, when it got below there, it just dropped and broke out the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Good place for an entry, not a good place for an exit. You want to exit up higher, all right? Now that will work on each of these charts. Now that I've added it to the study, now I have VWAP in play. And I find it very helpful in my trades. As you can see, INO is continuing to make this incredible bullish move. And now that VWAP is getting further away from the candle, it is getting stronger. The volume is kicking in. How do I know volume is kicking in? Well, let's add another study. Let's go up here to the beaker and let's go ahead and add volume. Now, volume can be added to the upper or the lower chart. Let me see what I got. How about volume average? Let's add selected, and it's down at the lower chart. Got it? Let's hit apply. Let's hit OK, and there's volume. And that's exactly what I was talking about. You can see that the volume is coinciding with the exact candle action climbing up this upper Bollinger Band. Look how the volume is kicking in. It's going boom, big green volume right here, matching the candles up here. And then you see that sell-off right there as people were locking in gains. And that goes along with the volume bars right down here. Nice, you'd say, right? How about we add something else I like? I like the TTM squeeze. And that's all I have to do is hit that. I'm going to hit add selected. It is also a lower study, and I will hit apply. And I actually like it above volume. So I'm going to move volume down here. Okay, so the TTM squeeze is up above. And as you can see, to do that, you use these buttons, the upper or lower buttons. You could go ahead and rearrange how you like your setup on your actual chart. Hit apply, hit OK, and there you go. Now we're talking. We've got our Bollinger Bands. We've got VWAP. I have my TTM squeeze, and I have volume. You can use this basic setup and find entries and exits all day long. No matter the ticker, it doesn't matter. Look for the expansion for a big bullish move. Look for the Bollinger Bands to contract. And when they contract, it enters into a squeeze. And when it squeezes, we're looking for a pop. It can pop either to the upside or pop to the downside. So when I'm looking at a squeeze, the downside, of course, is in the red and yellow bars, and the upside is in the blue bars. The light blue is better than the dark blue. I prefer the light blue, and you actually want to see the light blue bars stair stepping up on the TTM squeeze. You'll hear me saying stair stepping up. This is what I mean. Boom, 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 boom. And that means we're just getting higher and higher. Coincides with the volume over here. One other thing I want to help you with in your charts, if you're looking to play these trades, you need time and sales. And over here on the right-hand side, you will see TNS. That's time and sales. Click on that, and that opens up. Let me get it a little bit bigger. And it tells you the time, it tells you how much, and it tells you how many. Got it? You need to know this. You need to know the actual tick by tick, what everyone is buying and selling at. The other thing that you need is level 2. That is L2 down here right up above news. You can click on that, and there's your level 2. Level 2 gives you the levels of bid and ask. This is a lot more information than those of you that come from Robinhood would see normally in a trading day. Takes some getting used to, but once you open it all up and get the hang of this, you're going to love this so much better. Look at INO breaking higher highs. It is now going to, the Bollinger Bands are expanding. So to make these smaller, go right here, squeeze it down a little bit, squeeze it down a little bit, right there. And there you go. That's exactly how you can set up a basic chart. You can see why I picked this one, right? You see it, right? This is INO, alerted for a $15 call. Pretty much, probably, I don't know, maybe around here, right around there, for a $15 call. It's 1749. It's breaking out the upper Bollinger Band. This is a smoking in the money trade. If I hit trade over here, it will go ahead and open up the option chains for me, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and look at February 19th. And like I said, it was alerted for a $15 call. And there it is. It's at $4.50. The alerted entry for that was $2.75. You can very well make this a day trade, but in all honesty, it's going higher. It is going higher. If you pay attention to your indicators, look at the TTM squeeze getting taller and taller. This is still in play, and it's going to go higher. I see it heading for $18. Go ahead and mark my words. It's headed. Time and sales kicking in. It's holding it nicely. VWAP is starting to get further and further away from the candle action. This one's a money maker for your account today. Those of you that got into this trade today, congrats. And those of you that are just learning how to set up your chart, I hope this helped you. And if you have any questions, just hit me up in the Discord. Talk to you then. Here we go.